Thank you. Is this on? Yes. Well, thank you very much for coming today. I think that Hellboy is a property that you guys love as much as I do, being a fan. And I know that we are not a majority. Right now, it's a very elite group of readers that are into Hellboy. It doesn't have Spawn or Marvel numbers. It's much more of a cult comic. And therefore, I know that is a comic that demands more attention in being translated to the screen, demands to be done with the utmost love and care, and with the right people on board to do that translation. So we're here first and foremost. We're not going to lecture for long. We're going to just introduce each other, talk a little bit on what we're doing, and then we're going to completely just open for questions, because I want to hear what you have to say. Then I'll tell you a couple of casting ideas that we will cast right here. So I want to see a hand show. We were arguing in the f***ing van in the traffic jam. So I said, we'll ask them. You know, what the hell, we'll see. You know, so, and, thank you. And,
Hellboy is cast, by the way.
Don't clap on that.
You're welcome to give your ideas, but it won't do any good.
And that's basically it. I want you guys to know two things. I'm doing this movie only because I'm desperately in love with the comic. Not because I want to change it or make it better. Because I think that when you know of something good, you want to tell the world about it, you know? And you want to, if possible, poke your dick into it. You know, hey, it's mine too. So that's more or less the intention. Now I give you Ron Perlman, who will say a few words.
Thank you. I always wondered what it would be like in the bowels of Hellboy world. I don't have much to say except, you know, thrilled and honored to be the guy that gets to put on the red stuff, and I welcome any of your suggestions as to, you know, how we go about that the best way possible. But this will be my third collab.
Listen to that f***ing voice, though. Pay close attention.
This will be my third collaboration with Guillermo. We've done two other films together, and so he knows all my bad habits, and we'll intercede, hopefully, and I look forward to having an amazing time working on what is a magical property and a fantastic adaptation thereof, in terms of its genesis to the screen. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to see so many people who support this this wonderful idea.
Don't need the drum, by the way. You're too fat. He's too f***ing fat.
Mike Mignola.
Well, how weird is it to be here with these guys? It's taken 5 years to get here. And I gotta say, now that we're here with all the people we wanted to be here with. The director, we've got, you know, the director who wanted to do it. We got the star that we agreed on the very first time we spoke. The script, which we're, you know, thrilled with. So it's, we didn't have to make these gigantic compromises along the way that, you know, so far.
Except Hellboy is invisible now.
Yeah.
It's a voiceover.
For budget reasons, he's an 8-inch puppet. But no, it's for me, it's just a thrill to be here with these guys. and it's a hell of a ride.
Now, the translation of the film from the comic, the thing is, the saturation of the blacks that Mike does, we basically started experimenting. I wanna, by the way, clarify one thing. Blade 2, which I love as a kick-ass popcorn movie, is not what Hellboy will be, all right? Hellboy is a movie with much deeper character work and so on and so forth. And Blade 2 was, for us, what was great about it was that we were given the tools to experiment a lot of little visual quirks that will be on Hellboy. I mean, the blacks, the depth of black in the frame on Blade 2 was sometimes almost 80% of the frame was really in black with very saturated colors, and we learned a lot. One of the things we learned on that was that the best way to deal with Hellboy will be to process the entire movie digitally in post. So we can augment the color and the contrast and manipulate the image after shooting the negative. That gives us not only a great range to work on the set with more freedom, but also will allow for a lot of the colors to pop out. Right now, the digital processing, the most in vogue thing is to use it to desaturate the color, to go to a sepia or a sick blue hue or so, but we're gonna use it to make the translation exactly of the right colors against the black. And the black is gonna remain as rich and the colors as vibrant as in the comic. All I am interested in, and Mike and I have talked about it very, very carefully, we always come to the same conclusion. We say, all we need to do is make the movie that we love, that we say it's fucking fantastic. And the way we go at translating this is obviously, for example, the designs that Mike does of the characters, translating them into 3 dimensions, as you have seen, for example, with the toys or the PVC figures and so forth. Sometimes it's really hard, and it can be, it is a very delicate process. So we've done that, and you're not gonna see any brutal changes at all. I mean, Ape Sapiens is gonna be Ape Sapien. I mean, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there, and it's gonna be as perfect and as beautiful as in the comic. And it's not gonna be all of a sudden a guy that is out of someone's imagination other than Mike. The same is with Hellboy. We're not, you know, I think that the worst thing that can happen to a movie is when you get a producer or a director that says, well, it's a comic, but I'll make it better, or I'll make it work. You know, that's really the screwed way to approach a property. So we're approaching it carefully, translating that. All the gothic surroundings, and the dreamy sewers and the dreamy subterranean chambers and all of that will be there. And it'll battle huge Lovecraft monsters towards the end.
I don't think there's that much obscure reference stuff in the film. There's enough to give it the feel of the Hellboy stuff, as in, you know, people reference certain occult things, but you don't need a working knowledge of that stuff. You just need to know that when he's talking about that stuff, you go, well, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Which is why I throw that stuff into the comics, so it sounds like I know what I'm talking about.
No, but it's like when you watch ER. You don't give me a sick lamp and give him 15 cc's of nemotumbalina, whatever the f they inject on that, and you don't get what they're doing. But you know, as long as the guy doing the tale did his homework and the investigation is correct. I remember Mike and I arguing about a circle of Solomon one day. So as long as we know what we're doing, you just, you know, I think that there is an obsession on movies sometimes from the audience, as an audience, to try to get everything. And a lot of times it's just there for the flow and to give you a sense of reality of those things. You know? It's put there, we did the homework, you don't need to do it. We're not going to do anything incorrect. You will not invoke accidentally the wrong demon.
You won't need a glossary of terms, you know, to know what's going on.
In terms of translating this, just as much as we wanted to cast the right actor, we wanted to cast the right shop for doing Hellboy, because you know, you cannot just go and grab just any makeup effects shop to do Hellboy himself. So we knew from the start we wanted Rick Baker's innovation, and that's what we got. So they're doing Hellboy only, and what we did is one of the guys that worked in Blade 2, a guy that was a really smart, great engineer of mechanical effects, said, I want to, you know, we do something that I don't encourage you to do very much, but since I'm a Catholic, I'm kind of fucked up, is he said, I want the chance to prove that I can have my own shop and that I can do a great job. So we gave him the chance of doing his own shop. And we are doing, it's a new shop called Spectral Motion, and they're doing that, and so far they have been fantastic and dead on in translating the creatures. You know, if you know the makeup effects world and you like it, a lot of the great guys, some of them are under contract in certain shops like Baker's, Stan Winston's and so forth. Those are there. You cannot touch them, but there's a lot of freelancers that are really great. And we've been recruiting them to do this. The same is true for some of the design and storyboard. Every movie I do, you can do this, and absolutely I'm open to being tortured. You know, two of the kids that did storyboards in the movie are guys that approach me at conventions or at DVD shops and say, hey, I do storyboards. I look at their portfolio, and if it's good, I call them, and they work in the movie. Because I think it's really important. One of the guys that was designer in the movie of some of the creatures, you know, we had Wayne Barlow, we had Mike, and we have 3 Japanese artists. I don't know how familiar you will be with them, but it's Nirasawa, who's a fucking genius. You know, a guy called a guy Nihei, who does a comic book called Blame, and Terada. You know, so I mean, since I'm a geek and I want to meet them, I use this to read. But amongst those great names, there was this guy that approached me at a signing on the DVD shop and said, I want to know how to go about designing creatures, and here's my portfolio. And he was fucking good. So I said, come over and do 2 weeks on the movie. And that's what we did. So I think that when you work with fans and you are a fan, the work gets translated right.
Thank you. Also, fortunately, we do have a professional designer on the picture, Ty Ruben Ellingson, who worked on Jurassic Park, who worked on Star Wars, Casper.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But, and who
The
designed...
white turd.
Who designed...
The white butt plug. As he affectionately calls it.
And who designed the Mimic for Mimic.
He designed Mimic and designed the blade weapon for Blade 2 that Reinhardt uses. The gun with the big blade, and designed some of the weapons.
And he designed Hellboy's gun for this, and it's amazing.
It's a good gun.
Good gun.
Say hello to them.
I don't look at it as affecting the comic, because when the film is over and done with, the comic is what it was. It's not like when the film is done, suddenly I start drawing the film version of the BPRD headquarters, or Ape Sapien design changes a little bit to be closer to the film. It's a parallel universe, and in a lot of ways, the way I look at it, Guillermo has come up with, and with me, we've come up with a script that is a little different, in a lot of ways, a lot better than the original miniseries I came up with. It's a parallel universe of that original miniseries. Yeah, there are things that are different because things work in film that don't work in comic, and vice versa. So I really look at them as things that stand right next to each other. I don't look at the film as being in the line of those comics. It's just off to one side. So I'm very comfortable with it. I'm very happy about it. Well, first of all, the first time I met Guillermo, well, the first question he asked me was who should play Hellboy, and he knew, and I knew, because somebody had suggested Ron to me, and I said, well, of course, that's perfect. Because I never thought about it, and then somebody said, hey, you know who should play Hellboy? Of course, and once I knew that, I literally couldn't imagine anybody else. And when Guillermo met me and he said who should play Hellboy, he knew and I knew we were kind of sizing each other up, like who's going to say it first, and of course we said it at the same time. And then Guillermo went on to say, I want to make this the last emperor of cheesy monster movies. And I said, I wasn't aware till that time that I had a formula to what I do, but that was certainly it. So that was it. And you know, over the years, comparing notes, like he said, we like the same stuff, we reference the same material. I can't imagine that there's another filmmaker out there, certainly not one, you know, of Guillermo's, you know, quality and girth, that's got this feeling for this material. So it couldn't be in better hands.
What was the question? No. Well, I was lucky enough to get asked by Guillermo to be in his first film, Kronos, back in 1992.
92.
92.
Yeah.
Did I say 1892? And we've just become hard, fast friends, and occasionally work together since that point. So I'm along for the ride. I have no idea what it is these guys see in me, but I feel very blessed and grateful that you know I get to be the beneficiary of their most twisted imaginations. Particularly, I mean, it's all been really cool. You know, being in Kronos was really cool. Being in Blade was super cool. But I got a feeling that Hellboy will be the project that will be, you know, like on the gravestone, and he was Hellboy. Shit, man. I mean, Jesus. I mean, who in his right mind wouldn't want to be Hellboy, you know? And I don't ever stop to think, you know, about why I'm him, because if I did, I'd probably have a nervous breakdown. But I'm just hoping to be, you know, keep on this beautiful train that we're on towards whatever it is we're going to lay on y'all.
And finally about these two guys, I'll tell you two short things. When we started the process of adapting Hellboy, and we had one of our first meetings in the studio, and they started doing the stupid questions that they always do. And they say, couldn't it be a guy that is normal? And then when he gets angry, he turns into Hellboy? No, it couldn't be that. Well, does he have to be red all the time? Yes, he has to be red. Does he have to be called Hellboy? Yes, he has to be called Hellboy. And after that round of things, well, they said, well, go write the f***ing screenplay. Go and write the f***ing screenplay. I come back and they say, we love the story, we love the idea, can the Rock be Hellboy? No, not unless Stone Cold Steve Austin directs. And they said, we'll green light it with him. I said, fuck that. You know, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. And they said, well, okay, who do you see? And everybody around me starts dancing really fast and saying, well, it could be this or it could be that. And I say, it's Ron Perlman. And the budget is what? And it's Ron Perlman. And it's just because why do I believe Ron is the guy to do it? I think that number one, a guy that can do Vincent's Beauty and the Beast and Name of the Rose Salvatore and the Neanderthal in Quest for Fire, that's a f***ing range. Number one. Number two, not every... And why? Because those three characters are parts of Hellboy. I mean, Hellboy can be a Neanderthal, can be Salvatore, or can be Vincent. I mean, He's a guy that you can admire. Personally, I would like Hellboy to be my dad. Can you adopt me? I'm fat. I like you. That's number one. The other thing is, seriously, there's many actors, you put a mask on them and they die. The mask dies, the effect dies, and it becomes prosthetics over dead flesh. This is a guy that makes it come alive, you know? And the third and final thing, aside from knowing how much of Hellboy lives inside of Ron and how much they have in common, because they act like normal guys, but they are in many ways superhuman. And I asked him to work on Kronos because I admire him. That's what I asked him. I try to work with people I admire. But the last thing, and the most important one, is that f***ing voice. That f***ing voice. It's just amazing. About Mike, I'll tell you the briefest, and then we'll proceed to sign that collectible. When I was shooting a movie in '97 and having a really hard time doing it, essentially having a grinder on my nuts going very slowly over the shit, then popping one at a time. I would have one single thing to look forward to, and that was every new issue of Hellboy. You know, I would go, I mean, I love Mike. I remember the period when Mike became Mike, when he went from Rocket Raccoon and those stuff to all of a sudden in Cosmic Odyssey, boom, there was those weird figures with the huge torso and the tiny legs. And there was that guy with that big f***ing hole in his chest. And there were all those crazy things. And little by little, Mike, you know, Farfar than Grey Mouser, and all his series, he was becoming more his own creature. Then the Dracula series, which I said, it's better than the movie. His comic is better than the f***ing movie, it's fantastic. And the blacks on that, the way he evolved, and all of a sudden, Hellboy. When Hellboy happened, I knew I was looking at a universe that was so unique. And I don't know if it happens to you, but very seldom a comic book would make me recede back in the years and become, again, regress to a 10-year-old kid. When that happens at the ripe age of 38 and 500 pounds on each cheek of my ass, that's magic. That is something that is not often seen. And you go back and you go, if this is that good, why am I not dedicating several years of my life to making it happen? So that's why I'm working with them. We'll see you in the signing. Ladies and gentlemen.